Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today, this wonderful summit. I have a pleasure to present deeply personal topic to me, which is patient engagement and AI. My name is Ida Bergstala. I'm CEO and founder of a company called Bernabo, and we specialize in turning AI from impersonal matter to turn this into deeply personal. So let's go into the next slides, and I would like to introduce myself. I consider myself as an innovator in AI-powered patient engagement and clinical trial space. My vision is to revolutionize this space through personalized communication and purposely build AI-driven solutions that not only educational, but also tackle the compliance and very complicated legal documents which we use in clinical trials, such as informed consent, and improve overall clinical trial efficiency. Under my belt, I have more than executed 50 clinical trials, including pediatrics and non-pediatrics. All of them gained regulatory approvals across the globe. And I do see through my expertise and through my career a need for innovation where we can pioneer AI and turn complicated, not understood informed consent forms and other patient-facing materials into something patient love that is centric and is fun as a Disneyland. So let's go into more specifics. What challenge do we face in this space? We all know that patient engagement is a critical factor that influences recruitment, retention, and overall success. So the challenge is that one-size-fits-all approach failed to address diverse patient needs in clinical trials. And this is what I experienced through my career in the last 20 years. And we unfortunately didn't make much of them progress since. But now we got AI. So what AI can do for that? It can power personalization and transform patient engagement materials into something that's more accessible, relatable, and effective. We can also use approaches such as personalized videos for children or for non-pediatric. We are calling this NPEP, Non-Pediatric Patient Engagement Platform, and PEP, Patient Education Platform. Pediatric engagement platform, so PEP and NPEP. So what will go through my slides, I will be frequently using these terms. So PEP is for pediatrics and non-PEP is for non-pediatrics. So what can we do? We can utilize multilingual content tailored to adult and children alike from very various backgrounds, including neurodiversity. We can also have some measurable impact, and I will go through my slides into more details into that, how AI can be tailored to the experiences, reduce dropout rates, and improve adherence. And what is most importantly, foster greater trust among participants. And of course, there are ethical considerations. So successful implementation requires culturally competent materials and also meaningful patient input. So what are the key statistics? That's really important that we go into that before we progress with the slides. So what do key statistics demonstrate us as impact in this field? So enrollment challenges, let's look at the numbers. Up to 48 of sites fail to meet their targets. That's unfortunately industry norm. And patient dropout as a result is approximately 30% when the patient leaves the trials. One could argue at the time when patient signs informed consent, they don't fully understand what this means for them. So they maybe trust the doctor. They would sign something they don't fully understood, and then they drop. So that costs a lot of money for the drug sponsor or device sponsor to afford to lose this dropouts. And of course, it has impact on the statistical analysis. So the reason for dropouts is all sorts, but often is attributed to the poor engagement. Now, let's look at the next one, lack of personalization. Recruitment efficiency We all know in the industry that advanced analytics and personalization can reduce recruitment times by approximately 20 to 30%. All these numbers are backed by the references if one would like to look into that. And of course, improved retention. Personalized communication does matter, and personalized communication strategy, and there are enough studies and evidence to back this 55% that this strategy can increase retention rates by 55%, and this was measured in some diabetic study as well. So, what are AI-driven strategies could tackle this matter? Recruitment success. 90% of clinical trials using AI strategies saw improved recruitment rates. There are some early evidence for that. Of course, most of them are pilot studies, but suggests indication going into the right direction. And we also conducted our own pilot, which I will also present later in the slides. So let's look at the cost reduction. AI can potentially reduce trial cost by 15 to 20% through improved efficiency and fewer dropouts. And AI can tackle many, many areas, not only patient engagement and retention. It can and already being used in all sorts of clinical operations, regulatory, safety, pharmacovigilance, etc. Patient satisfaction. Increased satisfaction yield 23 higher satisfaction rates by using patient-centric strategies of all sorts. And of course, cultural and linguistic tailoring approaches can boost specifically the minority group participation by up by 40%. So let's look into the power of personalization. At BNR, we will make impersonal AI deeply personal. How do we do that? So let's start with a definition. What is AI-powered personalization? We call it advanced algorithms that can tailor clinical trial experiences to fit individual needs. And that's beyond generic. We use language model, synthetically generated avatars, text-to-speech model to transcribe static documents into the visual elements, considering all these factors. So we go beyond generic, and AI allows us to go into the deeply personal level by using avatars and clone voices of the doctors, etc. So to create materials that not only engaging but also very handy to explain the procedures and cultural matters in the way that it resonates with the patient. So implementation, we're using cutting-edge technology such as 3D Hollywood pixel animations and personalized AI avatars, as I mentioned before, that increases comfort, it enhances participation because we make objects and procedures are more relatable to patients, which is very important. And this, in turn, enhances engagement. And of course, healthcare is deeply personal, and it should be. So animations and avatar designed to resonate personally and culturally, linguistically, aligned with the scenarios that patient can understand, can really turn stressful and complicated experiences into something engaging and that patient find very handy, understood, relatable, and personal. So the key benefit is that we can turn something that was previously time-consuming, labor-intensive, complicated, misunderstood into something engaging, transformative, again, shift the patient mind from passive into the highly interactive. It's optimized interactions and it's enhanced efficiency when the study staff can interact with the patient on more personal matter. So even something like frequently asked questions that sites go over and over again with each individual patient, which, as you can imagine, is time consuming, it's not consistent, it has a human element into that, all sorts of factors. We can tackle all this with the materials that can deliver consistent quality. So what is important to note is that we do not replace any existing methods. It's only enhancing. So it's something really important to understand, that we're not introducing something disruptive. We are more working on existing methodology, existing operational workflows to enhance and to work together with the site to equip them with something more digital, far more engaging and cost-effective. So as covered in my previous slides, so we're looking into the PEP and non-PEP, so Pediatric Engagement Platform and Non-Pediatric Engagement Platform. However, we see, and I personally do believe, that Pediatric Engagement Platform PEP has even more potential to benefit from AI in comparison to NPEP. And there are many reasons for that. Is a neurodiversity of the children, is a more digital nature of our population, which is younger, and so on and so forth. They're digitally native in comparison to NPEP, but nevertheless. So let's go into the two case studies which are selected for today, because I think they're very representative in what the technology is capable to do and delivered already. So the PEP is designed specifically for younger patients, addressing unique challenges in pediatric healthcare settings through AI-driven personalization. And non-PEP is focusing on adult population, particularly those involved in complex clinical trials, requiring enhanced comprehension and engagement. So let's highlight the practical benefits in clinical settings. So let's look at my favorite PEP case study. This was done together with our partner, Erdodent, who transformed the pediatric dental experiences through AI personalization. So the challenge, Erdodent, which is a Swiss-based company, tackles is the challenge of minimizing local anesthetic use due to the severe risks in children. So they're already working with non-pharmaceutical interventions in calming children. They're using hypnosis and amazing storytelling techniques, which is verbal, and they are the champions in innovating this space for non-medical intervention. So they wanted to transform the existing methods and materials into putting this step up and have an additional tool as something complementary to transform their hypnotherapy and verbal storytelling into something deeply personal, AI assisted. And they wanted to leverage the child imagination. They want to play on all sorts of visual, audio, and their storytelling techniques to effectively reduce anxiety and enhance trust in their diverse younger population. So we were able together to seamlessly integrate AI technology with their traditional practices, with their clinical workflow, and created an additional tool, an engaging digital experience that can reduce anxiety and improve patient treatment outcomes. So let's look at some technicalities. So what did we do? We used AI animation training model. In fact, we did the dual approach, which had two distinct AI training models to achieve the perfect balance of vibrant colors and unique character design, which is both a very calming and encouraging children to relax. So there are some psychology element into the color scheme, how we used with AI model. We advanced this color psychology, which was a blend of green and blue, all the consistency in colors. We turned their object into the digital assets. So it is relatable because they have already amazing setup that can be turned into the digital 3D assets to the children, so they can already relate before the visit even begins. And it's a diverse appeal. It was designed to resonate with diverse clientele because they have children from all sorts of backgrounds, and to boost engagement and create experiences. And there was also the theme integration, which was consistent, child-friendly themes. They had lots of horses, toys, giraffes, unicorns. So all this was turned into the full animation. Also, we worked with the sound effects. So we created AI-powered soundtracks, catchy songs, which they had already, imitating cat sounds to boost the child imagination, designed to accompany those animations quite vividly and accurately. We were paying attention on the therapeutic impact as directed by the EduDent team when they provided the feedback all the way through the development, how this can soothe and calm young patients, enhancing their therapeutic effectiveness through those animation, but also video and audio effects, because we are dealing with diverse children. So some of them are more visual, some of them more acoustic. So we wanted to have both options available because we are aware of the screen time of the children. So we don't want to overdo this either. And there were dramatic and engaging elements into that. So the music elements to amplify the message, create drama. Unlike the cartoons, which we all know, and as a parent, we don't want to show the children as a distraction because it's just another screen element. So instead, we wanted to create something highly valuable that has the right message, thematically accurate information, and as well as paying attention to all sorts of philosophy and scheme, to make a surprise, to make intriguing drama elements and delight and engagement with the younger viewers. We also worked with the personalized AI 3D animation, so we were able to make a 3D of the doctor, of all the stories she's telling, to make this relatable to children. There were bespoke characters, consistent model, and consistent engagement. We also paid attention. This was actually quite a challenge because the model is often biased. So when you're working with the prompting, with the engineering, you're asking to create, for example, child with a Down syndrome, it would not give you what you need. Or, for example, if you would work with some anatomically correct scenes and images, it was also a challenge that took us the time to make the model right. So it just shows that we have a bias in the model that creates an opportunity for us to work with experts with AI to create medically accurate images that can be turned into the videos as well. And of course, authentic expressions, multiple languages. We released these materials into 3 languages, English, German, and French, to cater to broader audience and ensure accessibility. Also, this needed to be absolutely accurate. So let's look at the next case studies as a non-pediatric engagement platform, Non-PEP. Here was a different angle. So we worked on informed consent and turning this into the video, because there are bias in healthcare professionals that undermines the trust and how informed consent process can be cumbersome for some of the populations who may not be linguistically ready to read complicated documents in the paper form. So overall, the healthcare system failure is not adequate to address the cultural and literacy barriers. This is where we see the biggest need in assisting traditional informed consent. I would like to highlight, we are not replacing informed consent. We're not talking about AI chatbots. We are talking about visual aid for those patients where are literacy barriers or something that could be enhanced in addition and reduce the doctor's time to going through the informed consent. So we are not eliminating the traditional informed consent process, which must happen as it should. We are working more on relatable materials to prepare the patient for the upcoming screening visits and consenting process when it is less time on answering questions and the visit needs to be finished because it's not so much time the doctors have and the patient left with so many questions. So we're assisting this before the procedure and not after. So that's something important. So the solution, we turned informed consent, which was the paper form, into the video format, which was a shortened version. And we leveraged our expertise and cultural appropriate video formats, multilingual support to make it accessible and easy to comprehend to what is written in the formal legal document. The technical implementation, we used the text to video conversion and AI voiceovers animations, ensuring that spoken and visual content remains within the RB approved language parameters. So it's a compliance element into that, and GCP compliance as well. All the materials were submitted to RB and received approval, and they all sounded natural. So because if you need to work with the code to make it short, it sounds natural, and then correct it where needed. And also experts needed to go over it and to make sure that the model doesn't hallucinate and it doesn't introduce the terms you don't want to be in the document. So it's a highly expert-led exercise to make this compliant. So the outcome, we conducted a very small pilot study with those who have been consented with these RB approved documents. And we found through our own pilot study that 60% of participants found AI video excellent in terms of presentation, the clarity, compared to only 20% for those in the paper-based form. The AI video format was found engaging by all 100% participants, and all participants felt very confident in their decision making to participate after reviewing AI enhanced informed consent. We also collected more parameters, which we are also working into the right direction, confirming that AI potentially, so I want to repeat, this was a small pilot, potentially has even greater impact on the ethical compliance of the study for the questions such as whether the patient feel confident and know how to withdraw their right to participate, where it was much lower in the paper form. This is interesting trend which we may want to explore in the further studies. So let's push boundaries together. I'm at the end of my presentation, and I'm eager and intrigued to explore with all of you what's possible in healthcare, in clinical trial, in pediatric engagement materials, and your feedback is invaluable. So we would like to hear your comments, to hear from you how we can redefine patient engagement, because together with ethical and responsible AI, we can set new standards. If we don't use the tool right, it will never succeed. So we need to be cautious how we use it, with whom we use it, for what we use it. We need to train clinical trial experts of use of AI, so they need to understand the limitations and the setbacks of that. Fortunately, the tools we see already now do not require hard coding, so it can be very easy to retrain clinical trial professionals and actually turn these materials into something that our patient would love. And we're happy to assist you with any of your queries, give our know-how, how to turn these materials into visually appealing but also compliant solutions. And we would like to hear from you and continue making AI deeply personal matter. So let's push the boundaries together. Thank you so much for your attention.